tasks, reduce errors, and speed up processes take seconds instead of days? The answer? Combine imagination with connected RPA. Learn more at blueprism.com.
Dzień dobry Państwu. Nazywam się Dariusz Mazurek, jestem szefem firmy Digit.on, która specjalizuje się w transformacji cyfrowej procesów biznesowych i wspólnie z firmą Blue Prism zapraszam Państwa do udziału w webinarze, który jest przygotowany specjalnie dla Państwa branży, który będziemy mówić o wykorzystaniu zrobotyzowanej automatyzacji procesów dla towarzystw ubezpieczeniowych. Tym spotkaniem chcemy rozpocząć serię spotkań, która właśnie jest specjalnie przygotowana dla Państwa branży i bardzo dziękuję Państwu za udział i zapraszam przede wszystkim do aktywnego udziału w tej sesji. Możecie Państwo, przede wszystkim bym prosił o potwierdzenie, że Państwo widzicie i słyszycie spotkanie. Także jest okienko czatu, więc będę wdzięczny za potwierdzenie Państwa aktywności. OK, już mam pierwsze informacje, że jest OK. Dzień dobry, widzimy się i słyszymy, także jeszcze raz witam serdecznie. Możecie Państwo trochę pomodyfikować swoje okienko, w którym jest wyświetlany webinar. Po pierwsze, możecie przesunąć okienko, w którym jest podgląd z mojej kamery i jeszcze kamery drugiej osoby prowadzącej poprzez właśnie kliknięcie takiej ikonki pod wizerunkiem z kamery, odepnij albo przypnij, jak również możecie Państwo sobie modyfikować okienko dotyczące, gdzie można prowadzić czat. Spotkanie dzisiejsze będę prowadził właśnie na początku ja i również podsumuję. Również ze mną będzie Jörg Schwarze, który jest solution konsultantem firmy Blue Prism i będzie opowiadał już właśnie o konkretnych case'ach wdrożenia zrobotyzowanej automatyzacji procesów w towarzystwach ubezpieczeniowych. Na koniec spotkania będę Państwa prosił o udział w takiej ankiecie, dosłownie 2 minuty, krótka ankieta, po to, żebyśmy zebrali feedback i przygotowując następne spotkania z tej serii, żebyśmy się dopasowali do Państwa preferencji. Zanim przejdziemy do prezentacji, to chciałbym tylko pokrótce przedstawić Digit.on, czym się zajmujemy, więc firma istnieje od 2011 roku, specjalizujemy się w opracowaniu i wdrożeniu rozwiązań, które usprawniają działalność operacyjną i wykorzystujemy technologie RPA, czyli Robotic Process Automation, również technologie OCR-owe, systemy typu workflow, czy też process mining. A za sobą nasz zespół ma duże doświadczenie właśnie w optymalizacji procesów biznesowych, które zdobywaliśmy w firmach technologicznych i firmach konsultingowych. I dzięki pięknu rozwiązań klasy RPA udało nam się pozyskać naprawdę wielu bardzo atrakcyjnych klientów, gdzie wdrażaliśmy nasze roboty i również w towarzystwach ubezpieczeniowych i właśnie to skłoniło nas do tego, żeby wspólnie z firmą Blue Prism przygotować ten webinar, który rozpoczyna serię. I tak jak wspomniałem, jesteśmy partnerem biznesowym Blue Prism, także prowadzimy i wdrożenia, i szkolenia, pomagamy rozwijać kompetencje robotyzacyjne, dostarczamy licencje i podobnie również uzupełniamy nasze roboty, chociażby o funkcjonalność czy OCR-ową, czy process mining firmy ABI, która również należy do grona partnerów technologicznych firmy Blue Prism. Tyle z mojej strony, jeśli chodzi o wprowadzenie, także bardzo jeszcze raz Państwu dziękuję za to, że jesteście na tym spotkaniu i teraz oddam głos Jörgowi, który powie więcej już na temat konkretnych przykładów wykorzystania robotyzacji w towarzystwach ubezpieczeniowych. Także moment i już będzie to teraz jeszcze na chwilę wprowadzenie.
Imagination. It can start with a problem, an opportunity, or simple curiosity. And throughout history, it has given us the freedom to combine the tools we have within reach to create something truly transformational. Take the internet. The fusion of a research and defense network with new tech and programming to create a global motherboard. Economist Brian Arthur calls this the phenomenon of increasing returns. Every new technology becomes a force multiplier, increasing the possibilities for future tech. These days, combinatory innovation has moved beyond the physical and into the digital space, with data, the oil of the new economy, at the heart of it all. Connected RPA is enabling the exponential adoption of AI, cloud computing, deep analytics, natural language processing, computer vision, sentiment and risk analysis, and machine learning. This innovative combination of technologies makes it possible, right now, for leading businesses to free themselves from the complexities and limitations of legacy systems and merge human ingenuity with the capabilities of today's digital workforce. Blue Prism's Connected RPA is at the forefront, enabling the creation of powerful new services and customer and employee experiences that are unprecedented. How? Well, we took a bank's customer wait time for check approval from 7 minutes to just 20 seconds. 38 automated checks on every signature returned 100% accuracy. We helped an online retailer identify and intercept fraudulently ordered goods in real time before ever reaching their destinations. And we reduced the clinical cycle times and product labeling processes of a pharmaceutical company, ensuring much-needed medications go to patients faster. This is only the beginning. Research suggests enterprise-wide RPA is emerging as a strategic technology, with data-intensive industries being the early adopters and beneficiaries. And employing RPA early in the process further stimulates imagination and innovation, helping businesses capture that triple win for shareholders, customers, and employees. Now, the big question is, how far can this kind of imagination take you?
Okay, York, over to you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Derek, and thank you for hosting us this morning as Blue Prism in your webinar. I'm very excited to be here this morning, and hopefully I can show some insights into the connected RPA and support that with a couple of use cases. My presentation really focuses around the connected RPA, and I just want you to all to think for a minute about the digital revolution. As far as we're concerned, it is here. A bit sooner than we thought, perhaps, but it is escalating at a rate of change that it's never been seen before. It is said that the rate of change today will be the slowest it has ever been and will be going forward. They say every 12 to 18 months, computers double their capacity, and so do the information technologies that use them. Governments and the largest companies in the world use the Ray Kurzweil's historical trends and exponential growth chart for predicting this future. And these have not taken into account the recent global events. These events have shown us that digital will not only make the world work much differently to what we used to, but also influence the way we interact with each other, socially and in our work environments. The next couple of months will show how companies are predominantly considering how to interact with clients and their staff. Social compliance to adherence from government's recommendation on social distancing will determine how we contact clients, and more so how we contact and how they contact us. It will show new creative ways and usage of the collaboration between human interaction and technology. We at Blue Prism call this the connected RPA. It's about releasing human collaboration potential, the digital workforce that will transform the way we work. We at Blue Prism see that this approach is holistic. It is not seen just as one. We definitely believe that the development of our methodology in the robotic operating model will enable this collaboration potential. it is vital to consider each of the aspects that are presented in our robotic operating model because they all interconnect. You can't build an organization without people, and you cannot build and develop processes without the understanding of the service that sits behind it. You can also not be effective in governance without the involvement of technology. And this has been our experience in implementing the human technology interaction. It is a close working relationship between these components that present us with the best potential for success. We connect this by design. Connecting by design is really an advent of a whole bunch of interactions with leading software developers. It's taking the leading enterprise softwares and pre-building integrations, which we call skills, in our digital workers. It is the same as what you would acquire should you be teaching new ways to your staff. These skills, or the technical name which we call it as VBOs, which stands for Virtual Basic Objects, can then be reused multiple times without the need to revise quality standards and accuracy and developing workable solutions in lesser time. We have used these effectively in deploying solutions in insurance by utilizing our pre-built integrations with Salesforce as an example. We have pre-built skills. These skills provide access to some of the most common interfaces, providing access to methods of managing passwords within the Salesforce.com organization, providing digital workers with the ability to access and support approval flows, or the ability to enabling digital workers to interact with other accounts. These intelligent automation skills is seen in every company as a technology company, and we are passionate about democratization of the technology. Most successful enterprises innovate and deliver value across all areas of the business. Therefore, our goal is to empower the operations sides of businesses with powerful enterprise technology they can use to bring these ideas to life. We know that it takes more than just one technology to keep up with the demands of our digitized economy. So we created platforms for change, a connected ecosystem where business users can find and deploy best-of-breed artificial intelligence, cognitive and disruptive technologies, immediately accessible and functioning as a download within an app. This was the premise behind what we call the Blue Prism Digital Exchange. By collating and promoting some of our most exciting technologies from similar-minded software companies, we are showing business the kind of outcomes they can achieve when innovative technologies are collected and placed in the hands of operational leaders. With the help of an AI-powered digital workforce, forward-thinking companies are automating tasks and empowering people, increasing efficiencies, boosting productivity, and building competitive advantage. Today's business leaders understand that staying competitive means having the right technologies at your fingertips. They do not want complex IT projects and endless planning. The Blue Prism Digital Exchange highlights the path forward by placing state-of-the-art AI, cognitive, and disruptive technologies into their hands. No coding and no development necessary. To enhance the value of the digital workforce across the entire organization, we've identified and described 6 intelligent automation skills that we feel are required by a digital worker to deliver sustainable success in an optimal outcome. These human-like attributes empower digital teams to gather data and learn within the context of business processes. Read and understand the contextual visual information, the digital plan and workflow of execution, solve logic, business and system problems without intervention, collaborate with teams, and more. Today, we focus on the skill of collaboration. Collaboration is the use of digital workers to reduce time to service customers and to improve overall quality. Empower employees to work with digital workers to elevate their roles and increase contributions. Deploy chatbots to work with digital workers to autonomously service customers and escalate to humans where we need it. The key uses for collaboration is in the use of chatbots to trigger digital workers to instantly perform specific customer service functions faster than what humans would. Integrate front office and back office tasks into a symbolic and intelligent process. and improve services with real-time functions performed in collaboration between humans and digital workers. What I want to do next is really go into one of the use cases for insurance. This specific use case is a human in the loop use case with Salesforce, where we use what we call the VBO, which is the virtual basic object, the skill, to quickly support and help the lead generation in a commercial quote process. This use case portrays the more relevant insurance and interaction of human and digital workers in the generation of commercial quotes. The business challenge that was here was the manual capture of insurable clients' details into back office quoting systems that are contained with actuarial calculations for asserting risk and premiums and underwriting. We enabled this process through automating 90% of the interaction between the agents and the insurance company with the back office functions and systems. This was enabled through the use of the skills we had previously built in Salesforce and integrating this with our digital workers to process the transactions within the workflow systems and back-end quotations and underwriting systems. Using these skills provided us the ability to transfer an increased quality of data by 70%. In more detail, the process that it was there before was the agent would receive a quotation from the client, from either an insurance broker or directly from a client. The person then, the agent, would then process this manually through Salesforce by inputting all the information received. Then through Salesforce, go out into the back-end systems, which was then a bespoke build insurance quotation system, and then transact all the information through that quotation system and then feeding it back into an output, which was then collated by the agent and then generated into a workable quotation in a form, which was then sent back to the agent and then back to the client. What we looked at was reimagining the process using the Salesforce capabilities and implanting some robotic devices that had the ability to interact with the system and the quotations as would the humans. With the Salesforce integration of the skills, we used API, which was really a technology-enabled integration between the robot and Salesforce, and enabled the robots to do the quotation workflow. These pre-built VBOs and skills, we just downloaded from the DX core and then implemented that into the robotic workforce. The end effect was that the development of the process, the development of the deployment, and then the run of the operations became much quicker, much easier, and of course the cost to develop was a lot less. What we're also looking at is how the human and the digital workforce collaborate. And my next use case really talks around how that works. So we see the future of work as really a hybrid of human and digital workers working side by side. The digital labor is an exciting and existing capability with much promise, setting humans free from the drudgery of just working through all of these systems. But to get the best out of our human and digital workforce, you need seamless collaboration mechanisms between them, bringing the human-digital gap. For too long have people been creating silos with awkward handoffs and triggers and work with outcomes that are then dependent on systems. We see the opportunity of bringing humans into the loop and taking the people-first approach. We want to enable humans to be humans and allowing to be creative, empathetic, to solve problems and with greater speed and agility and efficiency and accuracy, while maintaining integrated RPA management and IT governance. We are putting people at the center of unleashing human potential. What does that mean in terms of attended versus unattended? The RPA market recognizes that attended and unattended automation is a concept. That's a divide between front office versus back office. There's a major difference between our approach compared to what others call robotic desktop automation, or in short, in an abbreviation, RDA. Blue Prism's vision is not to install an individual's devices and thus does not share the credentials of resources. It is a fully integrated and governed IT platform that is secure, efficient, and scalable. Blue Prism's non-reputational full audit trail ensures automatic logging of every event that occurs in the process. Best describing this is my next use case, and this one is around volumes and costs and thresholds of claim payments within a process that has high volumes. The business challenge here was with a roadside assistance company and an emergency response functions for an insurer processing very large amounts of claims below a certain monetary thresholds, which proved for them to be too costly. It was also not viable to underwrite these due to the servicing costs being the same across all claims. What they found was that processing a small claim, a lower valued claim, took the same time as what a high value and a higher volume claim would take. So the cost of managing and serving these was really high. The problem also was, of course, after hour support. You would have to have shift workers. You would have to have shift workers working over weekends to support any type of incidents and incident type claim. The suppliers that were part of the process would have had to hand in the processes and the invoices manually, and the calculation and resolution and payment of these was then done also manually apart from the system. This often took a lot of time because the amount of staff that would be servicing that would also be responsible at the same time for processing the incidents and not just the resolution of those incidents. What was the deployed solution? Well, we automated the process 100% between the initiation and instigation of the claim by the claimant right through to the servicing and the dispatch of the service entities to resolve the claim. We looked at the interaction of humans and systems and found that in most cases, the confirmation of claims, confirmation of cover, the confirmation of premiums could be automated at the time of the incident reporting, and that the reflow and the recourse back to clients could also be automated in terms of the supplier management. What we created was an automated process of 100% with an overall monthly transaction of over 30,000 transactions. The process overview was really around the validation of policy details at the time of registration and the underwriting department understanding what the premium were outstanding, if there were late notifications, or if there was any discrepancy. Straight through processing registration after hours was enabled through a product called Europe Assist, and the notifications were sent through to the service provider to do the resolution of any incidents. There was an auto allocation of service providers, and this went on a basis of preference and location. If, for instance, a supplier was not available at that time, or was not in the location area as specified, there would be an automatic escalation to the next supplier, who would then be instructed to do the resolution. The automation of border repayments came as an after effect once the initial processes were automated, and this was around consolidation of individual transactions per supplier, which then the automatic workforce reconciled and sent back as payments to those suppliers. We automated the remittance advices for the suppliers and the payments, and updated any estimates that the suppliers had in terms of the systems and how they related to any of the SLA management. We also enabled auto closing of claims and the finalization where there was zero liability and where we found that there was no liability for claims. The follow-up actions with outstanding suppliers and the documentation was also automated through the use of OCR capabilities that we then implemented. And of course, we then processed all service provider payments. The benefits overall realized was a faster processing time, a higher quality of outputs. The payments below and equal to a certain thresholds were automated by 100%. We enabled all cash settlements, which we automated to the extent of 60%, and then had the ability to gain volume and timing discounts from those suppliers. The overall return on investment was threefold, as the cost for deployment of these type of automations cost us in excess of 700K, which had a cost benefit of 2.7 million. These cases show our abilities to work closely with the technologies, and we then provide this through our DX store. Now, the DX store is our technology at your fingertips, which is very similar to the Apple App Store. Within the Apple App Stores, you can find apps. We have the same scenario in the DX store, where these type of technologies and these type of integrations sit closely and are available to anybody that has access to them. From a development perspective, you have the ability to download these apps and then utilize them in your automation processes. What it does is the DX technology environment brings together both the sellers of these technologies, but also the buyers of these technologies. And we give everyone an ecosystem that is then matched together with an accelerated adoption and a decreased time to value. That is my presentations for today. And I'm opening up any questions that you might have in terms of what I've discussed this morning.
Proszę Państwa, zachęcam. Otworzyliśmy teraz tryb zadawania pytań, więc w Państwa okienku czatowym pojawiło się właśnie takie miejsce, które się nazywa tryb zadawania pytań i serdecznie zachęcam Państwa do tego, żebyście tam wpisywali swoje pytania, czy do mnie, czy do Jorga i będziemy od razu teraz na bieżąco na nie odpowiadać. Okay, Jörg, I just, explained the chatting mechanism, and we are waiting for the questions.
Great, thank you. It doesn't look like I'm getting any questions coming through.
No, not yet. I do not see questions coming, but okay, here it is, one.
There's a question there. Yes, it says, do you have some example for insurance businesses? I'm not sure exactly what the question is in terms of the examples for insurance businesses. Certainly the claims process that I'd shown is an insurance claims process, plus the quotation process for quotations on the commercial claims is also an insurance process. We have many more examples, of course, in the insurance industry. These specifically relate around the processing of premiums and payments of premiums and the reconciliation of premiums with the calculation of broker payments and commission payments. Of course, this is always quite a difficult process from a human perspective because there are many inputs coming from various sources, but there's also timing issues. And of course, timing issues then relate to either late payments or potentially overpayments or duplicate payments. The automation processes, of course, can take care of that because the rules that we build into the processes then take care of the standards. I'm not sure if that answers the questions, but yes, we do have quite a few other examples within the insurance domain. I think, Derek, we will be going into some more details later on and potentially have another webinar where we would go into some more details on other types of insurance businesses.
Yep.
Another question coming through. I'm curious if it is possible to connect to OCR and read data from documents. Absolutely. This, to be honest, has been one of the challenges for the robotic automation industry. Our digital workers, of course, like to work with data. They enjoy data and they work best with data. Unfortunately, they don't have eyes, so therefore they can't read documents. What OCR does, it gives our robotic digital workers those eyes. We've got in the next couple of weeks a technology being launched by Blue Prism. We call it Decipher. And Decipher is exactly that skill for OCR, whereby you feed into Decipher the data from a document, be it a PDF, or be it a email, or be it any type of documents that comes through. Decipher has then the ability to read the data off those documents and then transpose them and transfer them into a digital format. Once the data is then digital, of course, the robotic workforce then processes it as per normal. What we find is that in normal automation processes, the digital workers without OCR can do up to 65% of the automations. If we add the OCR functionality to that, it expands it by another 15%. So a OCR robotic workforce, digital workforce combination gives us in excess of 70% of the ability to automate processes. So something to look out for. And Derek, I'm sure you'll be sending out some more information as soon as that comes out and is being released.
Of course. Yes, so referring to the questions being asked recently, I may add that, first of all, our team is doing quite frequently putting together Blue Prism virtual workforce together with OCR. So this is quite common approach to enhance, the robot by, reading and understanding the data from even paper documents. And yes, we are looking forward for Decipher to be released, and I hope within a week or two we'll be, providing the additional information about the release of Decipher. And also referring back to the previous question about kind of processes for insurers, on the top of the, let's say, insurance specific processes, like, policing or preparing offers or claims management, we also have automated a number of back office processes related to financial functions, accounting functions, compliance, reporting. So yes, this is quite oftenly a place where robots are used successfully. Okay, any more questions?
Maybe I can just add something more to the discussion, if you don't mind. What we found is in the financial services industry, the adoption of automation has been at the forefront in the banking sector, has been lagging behind a bit, and the adoption rate in insurance has been a lot slower than in the banking industry. What we are finding, though, in the recent months is that insurance is picking this up quite quickly, and we're having constant inquiries from insurance companies in terms of how to automate processes within the insurance ambit. To be honest, the way insurance works is according to rules. These rules are defined according to policies and policy wordings. And then the processes behind claims follow certain rules in terms of settlement. Now, all of this makes the insurance industry a really good candidate for automation. And I believe that service capability can be increased so much bigger using the digital workforce within this sort of environment. I see there's a further question. If I'm understanding correctly, do you automate human work on the screen? What about the backend, databases, events, or integration between systems? Great question, and exactly that. So we don't just automate work on the screen. Definitely, we do some of that automation. The way we describe the automation is that we emulate the human behavior. So that means we follow what a human would do on a screen. So absolutely, when it comes to screen automations, we follow exactly the process that is involved in automating the front-end work. However, the best automations that we found is then when we do into the back-end systems and into the databases. Normally what we find is that the screens on the front end access those databases anyway. So going past the screens directly into the back-end databases makes the dependency on the front-end screens so much less. A lot of the automations work a lot quicker when we integrate into back-end systems. However, when we have this type of scenario, we need to get IT more involved. On the screen automations, certainly we have less IT involvement and more business involvement, because business users understand how to transact on the front end screens. On the back end, we do have the involvement of IT, and we work quite closely with IT then to do those automations. Hopefully that answers the question. Another question, what is an experience with handwritten forms in OCR? So handwritten forms becomes quite difficult because of the style and sequence of the handwriter himself. No single handwriting is the same, and every person has a different handwriting. So the ability to get it right and to make it accurate becomes that much more difficult. Handwritten forms definitely become a lot more complicated to read. However, the way we've overcome that is to create blocks in forms. When writing into forms, you restrict the free format, and you restrict it by putting or forcing the user to write into blocks. Once they've written into blocks, of course, it makes it a lot easier. What we do in these processes is certainly break out for a confirmation. So we read the handwriting, but on handwriting, we put it back to the users or the agents to verify if what has been OCR'd and what has been created in the data is actually what has been written. Our success rate, of course, with handwriting is a lot less than what we do is with just normal data inputs from forms.
Okay, I may add, something here, because we had experience with handwritten forms, and definitely once you have block letters, letters in the written by hand in the blocks, you can send us a sample of your documents. We can process it through our OCR and give you back results. So I strongly encourage you to get in touch with us, and we can check your documents. Okay, any more questions? I cannot see new ones.
I think there's just one that's come through now. Just read the question. It says, who should be the administrator of Blue Prism, business or IT? And then who creates the models? So the way we approach this whole digitization journey is that it is a business-led transformation, but a IT supported and enabled technology. And the reasons behind that is that, yes, our solution is a technology solution. It is built on a technology framework, and of course, it needs to be supported by IT. However, having the business as the leaders and driving it makes more sense for us. And the main reason for that is that a business understands its processes. To the most extent, business designs the way they operate and how they execute on any process within the organization. The best way then to automate it would be to use the business experience in terms of the automation. That is the one side. The second side is that most IT systems do have some sort of issues in terms of delivery. And that's not because the technology can't deliver, but it's more around the ability to work around budgets, around resourcing, and the ability of timing and delivery of IT solutions. In the interim, what we find is that business make a solution for themselves, and they create processes to work on these solutions until the IT solution has come and is deployed. Now, often we find that these IT solutions take longer than expected, and a lot of these processes then become not just a temporary process, but more a permanent process. And it is those specific processes that we are very keen to look at, seeing how do we automate that. Our experience in terms of building these type of processes and automating them from a simple process, anything from 2 to 3 weeks, to a more complicated process, which can take us about 8 weeks to develop and deploy. So the ability to automate front to end from a business perspective becomes increasingly so much faster than what IT could actually develop it.
what I can add here, I am ready to visit you. Yeah, so if anybody is interested to better understand the concept of this robotic process automation, I'll be happy to provide you a presentation of the robotic operating model. So the whole methodology, how to put together of, let's say, the technology with business needs. Okay, so how to synchronize the business-led initiatives with the support of IT. Yeah, so please feel free contacting me, afterwards, and I'll be happy to present you the robotic operating model. Okay, any more questions?
I don't see any, but
Yep.
I must say some really good questions that have come out of the session this morning, which shows me there's a definite need for this technology in the insurance market there by you, and something that we feel very passionate about in solving, and the solutions that we provide, I think will definitely answer any further questions that you might have in terms of business problems and any challenges that you might have in terms of being able to make your businesses more efficient. And of course, the main thing is always to look at the costs and how do we make that more effective.
Okay, so no further questions. I'm closing the Q&A session, and would like to thank you very much for your participation. Before we end, first of all, I would like to encourage you to contact me, offline with any question you may have related to digital transformation and robotic process automation. Secondly, if you would like to learn much more about Blue Prism and digital exchange being an ecosystem of technologies supporting the robots with or complementing robots with additional functions, skills, as it was mentioned, please feel free to subscribe for Blue Prism World 2020. Yeah, so it is I believe 24th of June, and it is this year. It is a free online conference. So sitting comfortably in your chair, you can learn really a lot about the new functions of the robots, business cases, success stories, learning, etc., etc. So yeah, strongly recommend participating. Last years I was participating in such conferences, and always, they were top level in terms of content and the quality of the meeting. So always coming back very impressed with a new idea for automation. Okay, so again, Jörg, thank you very much for running session this morning. To all the participants, big thanks for sparing your time and your active participation. Before you leave the meeting, I would like to ask you to spend another 2 minutes on answering simple 5 questions related to the content and organization of the webinar, in order to help us preparing even better the next sessions for you. Okay, so please stay with us for a while and just answer the questions. They are in Polish, so it's easy. And again, 2 minutes will be far enough to answer them.
Great. Thank you, Derek. Really appreciate you affording us the time and the opportunity.